Right, it's great to see you.
It's been a long time.
It has.
You've got a tan.
Yeah. Oh, God, wait a minute. And you've got a better tan. Have you been anywhere?
Do you know what? The nice thing about Cannes this year... Well, one of the nice things about Cannes.
Yeah, what? I wasn't there.
No, I missed you, obviously.
Yeah. You're about moving on quickly to the nice things.
I missed you, obviously.
Yeah.
We had some great fun there last year, and it was definitely 50% less fun without you.
Thank you, mate.
But the same thing happened last year.
Seriously, no. What? Go on.
Remember when we were sat in the pizza place at the end of the port, and you and I were talking, and someone was listening to our voices and said, "Hey, aren't you the guys from behind the billboard?"
That guy, we loved him.
I was sat at a table in a restaurant, and someone said, "Are you the guy from behind the billboard?"
Oh, that's so good.
I said, "I'm one half of them." Yeah, thank you very much. And I didn't even have a T-shirt on this time.
I was going to say, like, with a big flashing
South American creative team, and didn't get the names. They were just like, I just want to say it's absolutely brilliant to meet you. Great podcast. Thanks very much.
I see what you've just done there. I've got a link to this. So I've got 3 shout outs. Shall I quickly do?
Yeah, let's do them.
So I was recently in at Wonderman Thompson with Chappie on a pitch for Skoda, which was very enjoyable. And I met a guy called Piers Calnan. Piers, hi mate. He was so complimentary about it, and had a really good idea about doing a live Q&A, which we've talked about a bit. So Piers, if you have any more updates on that, let us know. We could do it there. I know Ogilvy had asked us if we want to do it there as well.
And Ardmore in Ireland as well.
Oh yeah, right, that's good.
Spoke to him about that again.
And then a chap called Christopher Burns in Australia. Christopher, thank you for your long and very lovely note. We really appreciate that, and I hope you enjoy the show. Continue to. And John and Ross, a couple of lovely chaps, graphic designers who got in touch with me the other day. So yeah, I mean, anyone, just keep writing to us and saying
it makes us feel nice and warm and fuzzy inside, doesn't it?
It genuinely does. If you're having a really shit day and someone just writes and goes, "I really like your show," it just makes everything worthwhile.
So who have we got today?
So today we have got 2 lovely lads, Jon and Bertie. So Jon and Bertie are from Specsavers.
They come in from Guernsey, especially for this.
Yeah, they've got their little helicopter. They're going to put it on the roof. Soho radios, helipad. No, they're probably getting a train in from the
home counties.
Home counties. I have to say, I do know Jon and Bertie because I worked there with them. Sadly, not on the campaign I'm going to talk about, but I did also do some other stuff with them. But they're really great, and they've done probably one of the best campaigns in the last 18 months.
I've got a bit of insight on this campaign as well. We had a hand in it.
Yes, I sense the hand of Talon.
The hand of Talon.
And who should we give shout outs from Talon on this campaign? I mean, we're going to mention them, right? But
I mean, the planning team are amazing. They work on lots of different Specsavers campaigns. So I mean, Joe runs the Specsavers side of things. She's brilliant, but they do lots and lots of local advertising for Specsavers. So in some places they're kind of unique pieces of copy as well. So they're kind of targeting certain towns and cities. But for this, what we're talking about today, these posters are special build posters, which does fall under the Grand Visual team. And Georgia Hamp was instrumental in bringing them to
but this is not nepotism, because this is a bona fide.
No, this was your booking.
Yeah, but they're just brilliant. And the other thing I love about these guys coming in is it overlaps with Lee Bofkin the other week, talking about how he was involved, and it's really nice to have these kind of little kind of communities of people talking about great work and how it comes about. I think we should do more and more of this if we can.
Yeah, the 3 sides of every story.
Exactly.
It gives us triple the number of podcasts we can record as well.
Exactly. Yeah, keep them coming. So do you want to go and get them, or shall I go and get them?
I can hear the helicopter arriving. Why don't you go?
Jon Morgan and Bertie Rapkin, creative team at Specsavers. Welcome to Behind the Billboard.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming on today. Much appreciated. We know how busy you are. Indulge me for a minute. The last time we met in the flesh, we were drinking beer in our swim trunks on an island off Guernsey, which was
that is true.
Which was dubbed a team building exercise. And all I did was just got really drunk with these 2, and then worked out if this campaign in Canada was going to happen or not.
Did you have to be in swimming trunks to do that, or was it
No, that was me,
Okay.
I think we'd been down into the water.
You had your Daniel Craig moment, didn't you?
Yeah.
And we were staying in
Me and John were in the Premier Inn.
in the Premier Inn at the
We want to get to know someone. Stay in the Premier Inn. Whereas Bertie had gone up the hill to the
nice one, to the posh hotel.
He kept saying, "Come back to ours." It's like, oh no, it's so nice in the Prem. You just get bollocked by saying the wrong thing in the bar. Don't put your thing there. Anyway, look, right. What are you up to at the moment? We have to ask you, what's the latest? What's going up? What's going down?
We are, obviously at Specsavers, and we are working on a nice audiology campaign. So it's hearing, and such a lovely subject to work to.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I mean, in all, Specs is obviously sight, but less people know they do hearing. So it's just a lovely, lovely thing so much to think about.
Is it? Dare I ask what the media is?
Well, there is
any posters.
There is some posters.
Come back.
There are.
Okay, that bottom drawer idea.
Yeah.
Oh well, that sounds good. I mean, but you sound. I mean, I saw some of your TV stuff came out the other day. Looked lovely. Shot of Vince Squibb. Is that right?
Yes, yeah, with Vince Squibb. Yeah, that was good fun. Did that in January, and yeah, that was great. Vince is amazing, obviously. Yeah. And then, funnily enough, what was amazing was the Australian market. So Specsavers in Australia as well, and a few other countries. But Australia bought the script as well. So we went out to Australia in February, March.
Now I'm getting annoyed.
Which was tough.
Hold on, you're Australia,
Ireland as well.
Dan in Cannes.
Where were you?
Highbury.
Oh,
it's really nice.
Exotic.
Painted my garden furniture. There's nothing wrong with that.
Any swimming trunks?
Yeah, it's Fidos. That sounds good. I went deep into your website and reel and everything the other day, which was really lovely. And actually, particularly reading about on LinkedIn what other people say about you. Fucking hell, people love you. Oh God, Bertie and Jon, if they could have my children, blah blah blah.
Who said that?
There's just so many nice things, and I have to echo it. Well, you seem very nice, don't they, Dan? Do you think?
They seem very nice, yeah. And you guys have worked. you guys have worked together before as well, so you've got a bit more swimming trunk.
Bag, yeah. And in fact, I sort of felt like I knew you because I'd spoken to Jon about the labels campaign for Expedia. Thank you. And we featured
it on the on the feed.
And then we sort of ripped it off for our
Cannes thing last year. Yeah.
Yep.
We got your permission for that, though, right? Or at least he paid you your commission.
Yeah, I wrote to him and sent it. But then obviously it's been much more fun with Bertie, right? It's been much better. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'll leave it there. So.
The regular feature, the billboard at the end of my street. Obviously, you haven't come all the way from Guernsey, so you've gone from two different parts of the home counties. So, have you got two for us?
We have.
Excellent.
We have.
What have we got?
Actually, on here.
Oh wait, I've got them here. Sorry, gents.
Yeah.
Bosh.
I did go slightly out of my way, just past the station.
Oh, that was my one.
Oh, that's Jon's one. Sorry,
I have to say that one.
That was my one. Have you seen this?
I saw this the other day. I couldn't believe that line got away.
Yeah, so it's a 6-sheet. There's a woman, young woman, swigging from a classic Coke bottle, and then the headline says, "Coke drops like you've never tasted before."
I think that's the sound of tumbleweed horror.
There's a QR code. I think
It just says scan under the QR code and the Coke logo.
Fucking hell, it is staggering how
Yeah,
such a brand can still be turning
it's
out.
unbelievable, isn't it?
I think it's
unreal.
we've had a couple of these, haven't we, on this?
Yeah.
Just
we did try and interpret the line, didn't we? Try and make sense of it.
Yeah, I think. I mean, obviously,
it's not a new product. So Coke drops don't exist, but that'd be interesting.
yeah.
Like you've never tasted before. Is it a new drink then?
I think it's music.
I think it's music as well.
Music, because she's got headphones on, which we didn't say earlier.
Okay.
She has headphones, but drops music.
So we should be I should be looking
think
at the bus stop of my phone like this as I wait for the bus.
I think that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, look, I think that's not great, but I think there's a belter coming up from Bertie.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is a thing of beauty.
At last.
Harper's Heating and Plumbing Limited.
Fuck, I've got a headache looking at it. Don't try and describe everything because we've only got an hour.
It's a sausage dog, obviously, in the middle, with Worcester Bosch boilers come with longer guarantees, kind of going across the dog's back and off the tail.
See what you did there.
There's an Instagram thing underneath.
called
says,
The Long Sausage.
The Long Sausage. We did have a look, but that couldn't find anything on there.
I hope you didn't Google search for that.
You have to be careful with that. Yeah, they've used the white space sparingly. And yeah, I mean, where do you start?
There's a URL, there's an email address, there's a phone number. There are some...
Oh, wait, hold on. Can I do the typeface counting? 1, colour 3, 4. I mean, this is something Dave Dye would be proud of.
There's
useful. Yeah.
Checker Trade. There are 5, 6 logos on there.
There's
unbelievable.
There's 3 websites.
The logos.
This is not a lie. There's 3 websites. Anyway, listen. Whoever did Harper's, good luck in the rest of your career.
It is almost so bad it's good, kind of.
It's kind of like a white, like, you know, when you go, we're doing this mock campaign, it's going to be like a local plot.
Exactly.
Right, let's move on. That's fucking horrible.
Absolutely brilliant. No, but we do use that as we said to many other people about the state of the outdoor industry. And obviously, you guys have been doing some incredible work, which we're going to get into, but you're also consumers. So as you two, as consumers walking around town and walking around your hometowns, what would you say? Do you say this is these two are representative of the state of the outdoor creative industry, or do you think these are the anomaly?
John?
Beautifully put, by the way. That's like Newslight.
Oh, do you like that?
I think they're probably, I don't know. I mean, I think it's 50% that, probably 80% that, possibly.
I guess it's always been a mix, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's always going to be the crap stuff. But as a whole, I mean, the work you look at, you know, you see on Campaign and everywhere else, there is some brilliant work, you know, which is good. And so there are people still doing stuff, which is great.
I went down the tube the other day. I nearly did this on Instagram, but I saw 3 posters next to each other and they were all good. They weren't shit. They weren't amazing, but it was Bumble, Oatly, and something else. And I thought, they're all proper good. And we do live in a country where we do have good posters. You know, you can go to the States. Well, you know more than me, Dan, but do you think that's fair?
I think all markets are guilty of it. I think unfortunately that is representative of some local advertising specifically, because not all campaigns are national campaigns for big brands like Coca-Cola, Oatly. You know, you do find the Harper's Plumbing and Heating Limited
who are apparently very good, my wife says. So,
and it's probably put together by their local marketing agency, and they've probably bought 1 or 2 billboards. You know, and it might work for that market. But I agree. I think it's 80% stuff out there is not fit for purpose. But yeah, I think the good stuff, it makes the good stuff elevate very, very quickly and be more eye-catching and be more relevant, and the kind of the creative effectiveness would definitely shine at that point.
It makes our job a bit easier, doesn't it? Because we do get quite a lot of people saying to us, have you seen this absolute garbage, blah, blah, blah. Paul Burke, actually, bless him. Hello, Paul. If you're listening, he always sends me stuff going, this is a fucking horror show. And it is. There's one about Manchester. Honest to God. I mean, like, you know, the second city possibly in this country, one of the most brilliant places. And have you seen the advert at Euston? It's just got 2 lads looking in the window of the Man City souvenir shop. The fact that it's City, I'm not going to have a go at. But it's just appalling. And you're going, how does that happen? And a posters campaign to advertise one of the most vibrant.
Are you pushing us towards a new segment here? The dog of the week, is that so we're going to get people to submit? No,
because we celebrate the good stuff. We will be here all year, won't we? If we pick up the bad stuff,
just one,
okay,
just one a week.
You never know.
We might do that.
You mentioned the Oatly stuff. We were looking at obviously work before we came on. The Oatly stuff's brilliant, isn't it? The writing is
fabulous, isn't it? We spoke to Michael Lee about it, and it was quite interesting. So we will go on to the next bit. But I think we said, you know, do you get many ex-ad people in there? And you know, you kind of imagine getting there and writing some really lovely stuff. And he said it's weird because the tone of voice is so hard to get. And you know, you kind of think, it's not. I can do some sort of stupid, silly, ironic, double ironic, ambiguous, getting all the words wrong. But you know, headlines. And he said, it's not. There's sort of no formula. And he says we just have a certain set amount of people who can just do it. And but it's really interesting. I think I was probably angling at that point to get some work. I'm fine now.
Just before we move on, though, there's another thing that's been a talking point this week. I don't know if you've seen the Maybelline TikTok post. Have you seen that?
Is that the thing with on the tube train?
On the tube train and the bus.
Oh yeah.
Oh, what, the eyelash?
The eyelash.
Yes.
Oh, I saw that. I thought that was a bit of AI bollocks.
It is. It's CGI.
Oh,
the whole thing was done
there
in
you go.
CGI.
Yeah.
Well done.
Another one.
Good eye.
An
Girls showed me on
Oxford
TikTok.
Street one as well.
Yeah.
So go on.
But the interesting thing is, and the conversation in our community is, do you have to do it for real for it to become a talking point or a marketing stunt? And then you go, so someone's using the idea of doing something in the public space on buses and tubes and this special build mascara pen or whatever, and made it look like it's real.
But then
To be a talking point as marketing stunt, but it wasn't real. And then, so does it cheapen the idea, or does it? So I'd love to hear your opinions on.
I would say if it's talked about, it works, right?
It's such a shame, man.
I wouldn't want to say that in a client meeting if they're like, just do it. Fake it.
I find it disappointing when you find out. I really do.
I do as well.
I'm with you, both of you, because part of you wants to go, there's nothing worse than not being talked about. Someone once wrote, I think. But
I mean, there's 5 million people have watched the video for Maybelline
the
now.
only thing with it though is, Dan, is it starts to look like like you go, okay, we're going to make a TV ad, and one of these scenes is it's going to be like a bus goes along, and like it's a mega post job. So it's sort of like making a TV ad. So in some respects, you could go, it's just where it's placed.
The canvas,
you go, oh, what is this real? Where, and I go online to find out about it. It's like, who did it? Who's the credits? Like, no. It was just
I don't know. We had a similar conversation around anamorphic 3D billboards the other day in the office, and there's a huge premium that comes at doing. And don't get me wrong, we've done a few of them. We just did one for Formula One and Lenovo. But the true value for those things is living on, and we've talked about this before on the podcast, lives beyond the medium itself. So should you just buy that billboard for a minute, film it, and produce a really nice film, stick it out afterwards? Or, and some people in our office said, well, should you buy a billboard at all? Should you just get some video footage of a billboard and make it look anamorphic? And at that point, is the content going to do its job? People are talking about it, and, does it do its job at that point? I think all of us here, we deal with the real, and producing stuff in the real world for real people is a joy. And when you get it right, it can do its job beyond that medium. So for me, as soon as I watched it and went CGI, I was like, it cheapened the idea. In a similar way to, do you remember the whopper on the side of the bus thing?
Yeah.
That idea was cheapened for me because it wasn't an actual bus booking. It was they bought a bus and put it on there.
At least it was on a bus.
It was, but it wasn't a media format. It was a PR stunt, and it wasn't as outdoor pure as I would like it to be as an outdoor purist.
But the Maybelline, sorry, was it from them?
I don't know. I haven't seen any CGI credits on it, so I know it's CGI. I don't know if they produced it themselves or they,
or whether it was someone
paid an influencer to do it, or some AI CGI artist.
It's really interesting, because honestly, when I saw it, I just thought, fuck, that's no way that's happened. Because we would have found out about it. You'd have sent it to me, or if it happened for real, like, the network of people we know had gone.
Well, I've worked with the London Transport too long to know that they wouldn't let any of that happen. It's the same way as understanding that but the bus side, the L side doesn't exist anymore. It's all T sides now. But
we are.
That's just the outdoor geek in me.
Yeah. Right. Okay. We better move on.
Yeah, we can move on.
What about, so we asked for your first billboards, and there's just 2 blanks here. So, have you never done a billboard?
God,
shit, we got the wrong guys.
Put mine on there.
No, you have to. Come on.
Can you remember?
You will remember what it is. You just don't want to say.
You don't remember it very
Did it have a sausage dog on it?
No,
and did it have 6 logos on it?
It was the EE, I think, and it was just shit. It was just like the UK's fastest network or something. But I can remember I was with some mates. We'd been to the pub at like Bethnal Green or somewhere. We came around the corner, and I didn't know it was going to be there. We walked around, and it was there on a 48. It was the first one. And I was just like over the moon and told them all, and they just absolutely ripped the piss out of me, because it wasn't great, but I didn't really care. I was just happy that it was there.
Were they industry mates? Or
No, just not on advertising.
You turn around and say, "Where the fuck's your billboard then?" Right?
I should have done that. Yeah.
John?
Go on then.
Mine was newbies and Jesus. No, it was ski up and go. like a cereal drink,
nice.
Ogilvy, and we hadn't done the main campaign. We'd myself, my previous partner Mike Watson, we'd been there for a few weeks, and we were handed a brief to do. But 6 sheet, had no idea what we were doing really, but that's another story. And some other creators had done the TV, and we were doing the out of home. It was quite nice.
That's quite elevated rather than the sort of trade radio.
Yeah.
Did you go see it?
I think we did. Yeah, proudly.
I remember next to it with the
stealing the supermarket trolley sticker off the trolley, and my mum had it on her fridge for about 5 years.
That's so
Stuck
good.
to the fridge, bless her.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Right. We're going to get into the meat of the sandwich, which is Specsavers, obviously. So as Dan pointed out, we kind of know each other a bit, but I wasn't there at all when you did this amazing campaign. But we had been talking about it a lot, going, we've got to feature this, So it was lovely to meet you through it, but, to actually have you here today is great. So I suppose the first thing is how long actually had you been there before you got this? Had you just turned up, or is it, can you remember?
I think we joined in January, March, didn't we? And it didn't actually come out until, that would have been about a year later, actually, I suppose, the following March. But we hit, pretty quickly from when we joined, we thought, right, doesn't look like there's been much out of home for the sort of should have gone to Specsavers campaign. So we just thought, right, let's just start thinking of things, and we put a date
that
together.
happened in creative ideation. So let's start thinking about outdoor.
We started putting stuff together, didn't we? And initially it was sort of like posters, which we've got an example of the kind of initial
let's have a look.
idea. And then
so it was proactive. There wasn't a brief at this point.
Not at this point.
No.
I don't think. And then, no, there wasn't initially, was there? And then we
cool.
put the stuff together, and we were chatting to Rich James, the CD at Specsavers, and he sort of kept sharing it with the client. And then they decided they were going to do a sort of big relaunch of Should Have Gone to Specsavers, Should Have 2.0, coming out in March last year. I think it was.
Yeah.
And he said, we want there to be some out of home. We were like, great. And he loved that. And then he said, how about some special builds? And we were like, yep, that's fine. So we just then...
Oh, I love that.
That is the ultimate creative brief.
It should have always there as a brief. It was a kind of... As soon as you got there, were you just thinking it should have gone to Specsavers, or is it like an open brief that sits with you at all times?
I guess it was because the 2.0, the 20 years was upcoming. I think that sort of... It was a bit of a groundswell, wasn't there? That. But you can generally just, keep those ideas coming. No one's ever going to say no. Richard's, always after should have.
Yeah,
stuff.
Any decent creative team isn't it always going to be like.
Totally.
I remember when, I think before I started, Dan Fisher at Ogilvy just said, fucking hell, it must be so good to go in there, knowing that line's sitting there. And like within a millisecond of I arrived, they went, no, you're off to Canada, mate. And it's not should have. And I was like, oh, fucking hell. So, so you went in, you punted it, and then did it get bought immediately? Or was there any sort of pushback? Or those are great. Are those, sorry, I'm just looking at your screen there.
Yeah, so these are sort of...
These are your mock-ups?
Yeah, mock-ups.
Would we be allowed to feature these on our
I think so,
platforms? Yeah, that's
we
really
did
cool, mate.
Loads. We've got about 100-page deck, and we've
Hold on, how did you mock that up?
Oh, that's just a bit of...
Are you a little bit of a whiz?
A little bit of a whiz.
That's not me.
Could you help my friend in his local shop?
It's surprising, if you look at that computer and that one, they're quite similar. I think we just flipped them around in the end. Yeah, right. That's obviously Leeds, but they did end up surprisingly.
So when you saw Richard,
did
you sort of show it like this?
So the initial one was the sort of poster one, and he kept saying, "Can you just send that again?" And we just kept sending it, and kept going, "Yeah, people like it. It's cool. And we were just like, "Okay, great." And then it sort of turned into then hopefully be budget for a special build, and then I think one day he said, "How about 3 special builds?" We were like, right. That sounds brilliant. And then it just sort of grew, didn't it? And we chatted to the guys at Talon, Georgia, at Talon, obviously for MG and everywhere. Those guys, Georgia Hamp, yes, who was great. And it was then kind of looking at sites, wasn't it, and finding sites that would work and what we could do there.
So were they all specials, or did you have some which? That's an obvious question,
no.
Not an obvious, because they are. That's what they are. But the first one, that one, did any run like that?
Later on,
right?
Yes, they did, didn't they? The sort of upside down in the UK and in Australia.
Because I so this is not being rude, okay? So yeah, be careful now, because it's a line and an idea, which isn't, you know, they have done an upside down one before, and then we're going to talk to Richard and Graham actually about the one where they use the different sheets of the 48. So it's that kind of Paul Arden quote, you know, there's corn and there's fresh corn, and I think what you did brilliantly, in our opinion, is you just made it feel fresh, and you did it like a way we've never seen before. You go, oh yes, so you didn't fuck with it because you don't want to mess with the line. It's the one of the best. It's in our parlance, isn't it? But the way you did it, and I was just writing my notes here, and I was thinking, why is it so good? And I was thinking it's the craft. So the fact that this bloke who's been putting them up gone to such effort, you know, he's really put it, you know. And so I wanted to know how you got to that level of craft, because you could have just gone to your first slide and gone, oh yeah, it's on its side. Yeah. Bosh, job's a good one. You could have done 3 of those. But so how did you get to that level of? Was that you?
Well, we went and visited. So that's New North Road, which is the one sort of above the newsagents, and you know, that was the one we looked at most, wasn't it? Probably. And we drove down there. I got a speeding ticket trying to keep up with John. It's another story. And we sort of checked it all out, didn't we? And we were like looking at the sort of the drain pipe and how we could fit. We were really wanting it to look.
We were kind of imagining the craft. What I'm imagining ourselves putting it up, you know, being a sort of bad sighted bill poster, and how would you fuck it up? What would you do? You would just make it really neat. But
wow, so you actually picked the place, and that's amazing.
Yeah, and then the ladder one, there was another site, but the ladder was actually down on the street, and that was next to a bar.
So on the ladder, so I just want to stay on this for a minute. So the other ones, you kind of go, okay, yeah, so you just pushed it and then you made it stick over the thing. But the ladder is so beyond, you know, it's fucking madness. But then in a way, that's the hero, isn't it? Because when did you get to that idea? Because you probably didn't get there straight away, did you? Or did you?
No, I think that was later.
Do you know what we had? We had sort of 15 ideas where we covered different things like that. So imagine the ladder. I think it's in that deck somewhere, but there's
one of a busker.
There's a busker that we covered, and just his legs were sticking out. Because I was thinking that was the American artist Dwayne Michaels, who makes the ultra real people. Something like that. If you just had legs,
mannequin legs,
a mannequin, and a sort of guitar.
Shit, because that was one of our next questions. Was there any that didn't get through?
About 106. Yeah.
Can't you do those next year, and then come back on and talk to us?
We had a traffic warden.
Should we have a word of Richard when he's on?
Oh yeah, I think great.
If you give us a brown envelope, mate,
with the ladder one, because I do know this story, but how it was made to look so realistic with the ladder and the wrapping.
Because of Lee. I can't remember what he said.
There was a sort of the wood underneath was painted black to make it look kind of.
And then it was shrink wrapped on onto the
through the rungs. Yeah.
So Lee's been on recently.
That's right.
And he talked to us about the production of some of these things. It's really interesting.
It's fucking amazing.
The craft that goes into it. You know, we can see how it starts with a deck of ideas, but when it comes to actually making it happen and making it look like a mistake on the board, you really need some of those production specialists to help bring that to life.
It's pure theatre. It's just theatre, isn't it? It's like everything needs to be slightly exaggerated. And,
Can you describe? Sorry, just for our listeners, because we're obviously this is an oral medium, oral. Don't know.
Am I getting oral?
I don't know. Have you been well behaved at home? Could you describe, in an audio fashion, of the posters that didn't get through? Just because, you know, like you just see them and you go, oh, that was a doddle. You know, Jon and Bertie did 3 and then they ran. But, you know, for some listeners who don't know, you've done what?
Well, there's a sort of, rather than the ladder being pasted over, you've got a busker who's sort of half, you pasted over the top of him with his guitar and everything. It was interesting because that one, we did think about, do we even need to say should have gone to Specsavers? You know, thought, how about we just have the logo?
Yeah.
We did try that, and we felt that it just wasn't quite enough. You probably do need the line.
What are the other ones on that?
So there's one where it's sort of pasted literally the wrong, as if you've done it the wrong way round, so it's the words are backwards. And then there's
a bicycle up here.
Yeah, one with a bike pasted over.
I like that.
Then one just sort of shifted down to the left.
Yeah, completely offset.
Yeah,
that's quite funny.
Maybe a bit too subtle.
This one?
That's a sort of
we'd needed to have built one of those like electric.
Oh, the electric.
junction
Oh, yeah,
boxes,
okay.
quite big in front of it.
So you can't see the corner. That's very good.
yeah. And this was pushing it a bit. We thought, well, let's find a railway bridge and put a lorry that's crashed, into the bridge, and then.
Yeah.
Do you know what's fascinating about these? Because having worked there, and Richard talked to me, and there is a way. It's a bit like the Oatly thing. There is a way of writing a great Specsavers ad, a narrative, on TV and stuff. But what I love about this is you've kind of you've got your thing, your line, but then that is a whole. Some of those are just brilliant. There's the stories behind what's happened. It's great.
This lorry one. Very recently, we did a campaign for UK's most dangerous roads on UK TV. It's a poster campaign. Car had crashed into it, and the poster had slipped, and there was kind of skid marks, and the car was steaming and stuff.
Nice.
And they got loads of complaints from the police saying someone's crashed into a billboard.
Oh, that was like, do you remember O2? Oops.
Yeah, same.
VCP. there literally was people going, "Have you seen this? Has anybody got
great campaign?
This is fucking great." Oh God, this is so. I want to see more of these.
What was I going to say? That it was quite funny, the New North Road one. I mean, seeing them. I mean, it didn't start well, did it?
Go on.
First of all,
It was one of those days. Yeah.
It was. Well, I got my speeding ticket, but I won't mention that again.
No, don't go on.
You put it for expensive.
No, Richard. The cherry picker didn't work to begin with, did it? Then the wrong vinyl turned up. Then
Was it for a different campaign that turned up? Please tell me.
no, it was. That would have been funny. It was like really shiny, wasn't it? It was too bright shiny. And then there was a boiler pipe sticking out of the wall, which we hadn't spotted.
Right.
That we had to sort of incorporate into the poster.
Sounds like lots of different moments where
and then it
should have gone to Specsavers.
Yeah.
Someone was to blame.
Because I don't think Lee would have been down there, would he? Or was he?
I think he was at the ladder.
Right.
Yeah, there are different sites and different suppliers, wasn't it?
Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, Leeds was different.
Leeds, the sort of one with the grey background. We didn't go up to that one. We just kind of reviewed it.
It's in a weird way. I mean, you've got a great campaign. It's like Tim Delaney thing. You don't do 3. You do like 300 because it's just you've got so many there. I can tell from your faces.
Oh, there's loads more where those came from.
Well, look, but I suppose what we don't want to do is blow your cover by featuring them on the. We'll have to have a chat after because we don't want to jeopardise anything, because they're lovely ideas. Those, you might be able to get them over at, I don't know, as a special.
Going back to the production effort, I know Georgia very well, but having someone who understands those spaces and what's possible for you guys across different media owners, cities and country is obviously a massive bonus for when you're doing something that's out of the ordinary like this, because you can't just do this on any poster site. It's just not possible.
Well,
so.
That's the only Billboard one, isn't it? The New North Road.
The two of them were just blank walls. Yeah, and obviously the Billboard was built.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I mean,
sites,
kudos to you guys, Dan. I'm looking at Dan.
Yeah.
I can't take any credit for it. Georgia in our team is just phenomenal when it comes to this.
But it is that sort of thing you go, so great creators have had a great idea, a great client has bought it. It's still only halfway there, because that level of, I think, it's where everything's come together, isn't it? And you're going, fucking hell, that should be winning at every award show, hands down. Maybe because of the way that was my thing about the craft of it. It's the way you've thought about it, and then the way it's been executed, and the way everyone's thought about everything. Like, even the thing with the ladder, shrink wrapping. That's just phenomenal, because you could have gone down there. It's like that horrible thing, in a shoot, and you think, oh fuck, no one's thought of this. And you always want a kind of model maker in the corner again. I fixed it. I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I think initially it sort of didn't have the rungs pushed in, did it?
That's right.
Did it not?
It just didn't.
Yeah, I think Lee said that. Actually, I think he did say that, and then they went back and treated it with heat.
Yeah,
pushed it right in, so they had to melt it into the. Oh yeah, lovely.
Fucking great.
Oh, love that.
What was funny about the Islington one as well was the one where it's kind of above and below, is that we thought it would just come as a poster already designed, and they just put it up, which would be difficult enough, right? But it wasn't. It was just the white vinyl,
Right.
and then every letter and the curve and the logo had to be a sort
put on
of
afterwards.
Afterwards, in the rain.
The last thing in the rain about 6 o'clock in the evening was the curve, the bloody that curve, it's about it's about 1.5 meters long. So he got it out of his bag and unfurled a bit of tape, and he did it first. It was genius.
Yeah.
And then how he just went up and like, oh my God.
And we thought that would be off by the morning probably, but no, it stayed up, didn't it?
So when you went down, how long did they stay up for, these things?
They were up for about a month.
Yeah, a month.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Because they had so much press, didn't they?
Yeah.
I remember, I don't know if I'm going to get my facts right here, but I remember thinking, well, one, they were great. And what I loved about them was they sort of, as a nation, you'd sort of single-handedly with all your, the grouping of people you did it with, it sort of lifted our spirits, because I think it was in COVID, or it's coming out the back end, and you walk down the high street and you're going, fucking hell, oh my God, that's funny. And was it towards the end?
It was bleak. It was sort of that, and then it was it was Ukraine had started. It was pretty,
oh God, yeah.
It was very sort of horrible time. Yeah. So,
I mean, it is one of those things where you go, there's so few. Well, like Dan Fisher was saying, there's few campaigns with, like what, a decade of work, 2 decades behind, where you go, I'd love to go in and work on.
But it's a meme, isn't it? It's like you said, it's in everyone's vocabulary because the line's been around for 20 years.
Oh, it's amazing. It's just, if you've got that as a brand, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? And it's fantastic.
Can you talk us through? Is that a LinkedIn post or is that a tweet? Can you?
Well, that was the.
Can you read that?
Yeah, so
I like it.
This was the Leeds one, so the one with the sort of dark background. Yeah. Well, what happened was, it was really sort of fortuitous that Billboard site, and we hadn't realised this, was directly opposite Leeds Arts Uni, who have an advertising course.
That's the view from Leeds Art.
And that advertising sort of lecture was taking place at the time when they were putting the billboard up, so they were just snapping it. And I think that was,
What does it say on the tweet?
What does it say?
Suitably?
I should have gone to Specsavers afternoon brief with my level 4 students every year. I did it with this year's lot just after Christmas. Then this appeared outside our studio window last week. I told them I had arranged for it especially for them, and that it should have appeared on the day of our briefing. And because of logistics, it was only going up now. At least half of them believe me. So that was Nick Young, senior lecturer.
Well done, Nick.
Well done, Nick. Yeah.
And I have to shout out to Megan Holmes, who sort of posted it straight away, kind of thing. And it just went.
It's funny because it is in our language, and it's a gift every time, David Moyes goes, linesman should have gone, and it's there. But you kind of try and think of all the work, because I remember turning up there thinking, oh yeah, it's been loads of like posters, hasn't it? And then you go, not really. And in fact, these and the one that Richard and Graham did, and I did a big old search. There's not that many. Because it's quite TV driven, isn't it? To people to say it over and over and over again. But this just sort of, I don't know, it just sort of refreshed everything, didn't it? And I think it was, I hate to say good old fashioned special bill, but it is, and it's fucking great, and we need more of it,
But going back to what I was saying earlier on about needing to do it and getting the PR for doing it, in the Specsavers business, is there someone who says, right, here's your idea, here's the idea is going to happen, right, now it moves into the PR mode, we're going to get that perfect shot and we're going to get some money behind it to sell it. How does that stuff work with Specsavers?
Yeah, it wasn't like that. Yeah, I think, obviously it worked out all right, but we did have several backup plans. We talked to PR, didn't we? And they sort of said it won't be paid.
No paid.
So it will just be organic.
Okay.
And we kind of been.
We were a little concerned, weren't we? We sort of thought. I mean, they were going to do pro shots, but I think that was planned for the following Monday or Tuesday, and we thought, okay, great. And they were like, in the meantime, I'm sure they were kind of saying people will snap it and everything. And we were like, I don't know, will they?
Don't rely on anyone else.
And then we did in the background set up a Twitter account. What was it? Terry Evans or something? Just to give it a little
Terry
if it
White.
Needed.
What, a little nudge?
Yeah, but fortunately that wasn't.
You two dark horses, honestly. You no cuddling.
About a week to set up that Twitter. Terry White in his white van. And I had to tweet about 30 things.
Yeah, it was like West Ham fan, all this stuff.
Do you know what though? I can see it. He does that slightly serious look, and then the eyes lock on.
Yeah. He's quite intense.
Whenever we work on these big stunts where it involves surprising and delighting people, that we always have the fear, right before the shoot that there's no one going to be there, or no one's going to do it. So we often talk about the concept of astroturfing it. So you kind of send in some fake people, they'll do it, other people see it, they get involved, and then you shoot the real people and it all happens. I like that though. If it needed a nudge.
Yeah. Well, the beauty of it was that, I mean, we'd set that up, but fortunately we didn't need it. I mean, that evening when we'd sort of been to look at the new North Road billboard, we went for a beer, didn't we? Matt Lever for a pint.
Oh, and I'm working with Matt at the moment.
Oh, really?
I'll send you.
Say hello to
you left on good terms, I take it.
Yeah. Okay. I think so. Yeah. And we went there. And, we'd only just left the Islington one, and we'd sort of seen the Leeds one, and the plan wasn't even to start promoting them until the following week. And then we went on LinkedIn, and it was on LinkedIn. Someone had taken a picture of it on LinkedIn, and it said Dave Dye likes this, and it was like, what? And it was that moment of thing in your head. We were like, but that's our thing. What's going on here? And it sort of had hundreds of likes already, and then it just went bonkers, didn't it? And so fortunately, we didn't even get a chance to do the pro shots.
Is Terry White's account closed?
Stood down,
sold the van.
30 tweets and gone.
We might need Terry White though for some of our campaigns.
I'll keep it there in the background, just deactivated.
But there is that you're right.
That's going to be the new code name for certain people in our industry. Hey, should we activate Terry White for this one?
Can I? I think it's testament to, God, I don't know. Yeah, you think this is great, and then you go, fucking hell, is that any good? And I think it is testament to how good it is because, like you said, before it even got out, you have all your plans ready and you write a press release and all that. But it was a sure, of all the work, that is the surest fire winner. But kudos for. I was going to ask actually just a thing on Talon about, because there are shots out there which are much more sophisticated with, the car brush through it. So Talon would have shot all of their own, but you wouldn't necessarily been part of that kind of getting those
stuff
shots.
that you see here in campaign from Gideon's.
We were sort of involved. They were sharing those with us, weren't they? We were kind of looking at them, but obviously they were.
It's always
that normally goes a week into the campaign, though, doesn't it? So it's the kind of
I remember
once it's got a bit of traction and people want to hear the story, isn't there?
It's kind of a fine line, isn't it? Because you go, if it's too kind of like, it's just so perfectly done. And like you say, there's very pretty people from the agency going, oh, what's that? You're going, fucking smell it a mile off.
Yeah.
But then if it's too grubby, I think Uncommon do a great job.
But I think in this instance, there'd already been a bit of industry groundswell that week, and then the professional shots came out, and then there was a kind of the trade PR that went out afterwards. So I think the fact that there was a bit of social traction beforehand helped.
I always thought for some reason there were loads of them because I don't know what, I thought there must be like 6 or something because I've seen that one. That's the thing. It's like football stickers, isn't it? You want to get them all. And so that's why I'm really gutted you haven't get those other ones out.
I think that's what was nice about, we talked about Marmite, Dynamite before on the show. They did something where they did the first one, then PR'd it, and then they did a second and a third. So they kind of drip fed it out over time. So it's quite nice for some of those where you can see how the campaign develops over time, and it was all in planning. Just the way that they PR'd it was slightly different. And I think the way that you guys have worked on this one, you've got the three different ones shot from different angles, so that when the stories come out or people have shared them, they're all shot from different angles. It always looks like different places almost.
Yeah, I have to say, the Marmite stuff was great, and we kept sort of referring to that, didn't we? We loved that work. Yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, actually, funny enough, isn't it? That is one of the other campaigns which has, God, fucking Rich and Andy would have they had done that. Is that 20 years? I wonder how old that is. Because Marmite, love it or hate it. That's probably up there with Specs.
Oh yeah, right, in terms of the line.
Yeah. I was going to say, should we just move on a little bit? I was just going to ask you generally. Sorry, because you're just one part of the special. I know it'd be nice just to be them, but you seem to be doing really well at Specs. Are you reveling in the in-house thing, or does it just feel like it's just the way you two roll? Is there any huge difference there that means you've been more successful? Because you have done some lovely work there.
Oh, thank you. We love it at Specs. It's great, isn't it? We sort of expected, going in house, you'd think, oh, you just all sit around a table. There's no clients. It's all just a laugh, right? And everyone can have an idea, and it's all fine. But it is still, a sort of formal client relationship.
Run as an agency.
Yeah, it's very much an agency, and there's clients, but you sort of realise that you do need that because otherwise, you'll never make anything. But no, it's just a lovely group down there, isn't it? And they're so welcoming, and it's such a great brand, and it's.
So who are the clients? Are they the different countries? Is it the different product managers? Is it the? So
we got mostly work with the UK team, and have worked sort of out with Australia and Ireland as well, because the UK ad, the Vince Squibb ad, the script we also did for Ireland as well. So yeah, we've kind of done work with some different countries, and we're in Canada as well now.
And they brief you on a specific requirement for a campaign, and it's straight up agency work.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's the thing. You sort of tend to think it's just should have stuff, but there's so many other things going on.
Yeah,
so many other projects, from home visits and hearing aids.
Yeah, we should give Shish Patel a little.
Shout out to Shish. Yeah,
he's coming on after
Monday.
Next week. So Shish started the Canadian campaign, and I finished it. And then just as I left, they said, "Oh yeah, no, we're going to do should have in Canada as well." I was like, "Oh great." Which leads me on to my next thing, the Euros 2024. Do you have any ideas in your bottom drawer?
Well, do you know what I mean? That is the thing about being at Specs. You do it. The bottom drawer does get open quite a lot. Yeah. Why not? And there's no one's.
Well, look, if you could stay there till next year and then punt on the campaign we did together, I'd be most happy. We can't reveal it here, but
yes,
yeah, good luck. I'd love to see that. But thanks so much. I'm just trying to think. Should we wrap it up and ask a couple more of our regular features?
Favorite billboards of all time?
Oh, where are we going to go? Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, I mean, this is Dixon's, Saatchi's, Graham Fink, the famous one, obviously. Last place you should go. Campaign. Last place.
I mean, if you can get away with that line, you're doing well.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I think it's just absolutely genius, just that line in itself. But I remember these sort of being so just powerful for me at the time. Just loving them and wanting to see more and more, and extraordinary, and just
everything about them, the idea, the art direction, the writing, the bravery. The line of last place you want to go.
I talked to Graham when he was when we spoke about this campaign. It does everything that outdoor wants you to do as well. Like, these units don't move, so having the one that we're looking at here for rivaling Peter Jones on in Sloane Square. There's the Selfridges one on Oxford Street. So you kind of the fact that they're situationally aware as well as topical and
they just
sales
work on so many levels.
So good.
Yeah. Actually, just as a quick aside for bravery, I did see an ad the other day. Again, made me think. Well, we're in this country, we do great ads, and it was a TV ad, and I'm going to now get the product wrong, but it's a phone that flips. It closes.
Samsung,
and it says they use the construct of if you look at that God, you'll turn to stone sort of thing. Don't look at it because you'll want one. So I'm muffling it up a little bit, but she goes, "Oh my God, why would I look at a Samsung phone? I'd never have one of them. Fucking hell. Wow." And then she looks at it and it goes, and it's this flip thing. But I thought, wow, that's fucking great. Someone's signed off a script to say in their actual ad, I'd never have one of their products. That is fucking, if anyone could tell us who we did that is,
and I think the other thing that's keeping on your line of bravery for these ads is there are way too many words for what you are told should work on a poster. Yep. But the fact is that if you start reading it, you're going to finish reading it. All of this stuff was at eye height in streets, so it breaks the norm. So it breaks what. When you put these things through testing, what the results that come out, you'd have a big red X there saying too many words, not a poster, all that stuff. But it works. And it's the same as things like the lip smacking campaign. It breaks the rules, so it wins. And I think that's why it would definitely be in my top 10 as well. Good choice.
And then we're going to move on to, this is, I imagine, quite painful for Dan. I don't know, Bertie, do you
I'm aware, obviously.
Good job. Is at the end
of Spurs fan and you're a United fan. I didn't choose it just for
you did.
reason. This is the Wyden and Kennedy Invincible's Nike ad for Arsenal, which I just think is just one of my favourite things of all time. You know, the L missing off the end of Arsenal. Say no more. I think it's out.
It's
I think it was a
very,
96.
very good ad.
Yeah.
It may have just been print.
No, what it was I became obsessed with this, and I did a massive blog post about favourite topical ad of all time, and so it was a strip initially at the bottom of the Evening Standard, and they had it ready. But then I think, Guy Moore came on and said that, but then they did get it away as a poster, and then he could enter it and stuff. But nowadays it would be a banner, wouldn't it?
Oh God!
Jesus.
Yeah,
Digital banner. It's a wonderful 96. But yeah, it's actually. Can I just say a quick? So you're an Arsenal fan?
Yes. Yeah.
So I've got a question on this actually, and this is topical, and this will be the last thing. So I go around the stadium, and it's brilliant. They've had all these.
Oh, I can show you pictures of Hugh walking his dog around the stadium if you like.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
Every day, Hugh takes the puppy for a walk around the stadium.
Not every day, no, because I'm now very busy, Dan.
Every morning before work, Hugh takes the dog for a walk around Arsenal Stadium, and he sends me a picture, which is really nice, of when his dog takes a shit outside the stadium.
So can I, hand in the air, he says, get the dog to do a shit and then send me it in front of the fucking Gooners. So she does it. Anyway, we'll move on from that. What my question
He does pick it up, by the way, just...
Yeah, no, I got bags and everything. It's all done. So Jens Lehmann was the keeper on the season, right? If you walk around that stadium, there is not one mention of that man, right? So you go around the lower tier, and it's all the fan stories about they're great. There's Ian Wright, and there's Rocky Roadcastle and all that. What Winterburn? I fucking read them every day. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I just have to fucking read them. And then you've got the massive murals, which have all been done. Some are good, some are fucking awful. And then you've got the Invincibles, like everyone, you know, all the players. And I'm going, where is Jens Lehmann? So if anyone who's listening to the show can tell us, Bertie's looking a bit perplexed. I asked Jason Tully, a great friend of mine, massive Gooner, no idea.
Because he was absolutely essential to that team. So it's odd, yeah. Controversial, bit of a controversial character, wasn't he?
Yeah, there must be a story there.
Yeah,
that's what I'm thinking.
Skeletons in the closet, I think.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's a wonderful.
Take down the Jens Lehmann sticker.
Who'd have thought?
He's done it again.
We've had Jens Lehmann on the show. And any tips, I suppose? I mean, I suppose there's enough tips in your chat. The way you've described how you work anyway is a lesson for everyone, I suppose, you know. But anything you sort of hold on to? You tell that story, Beth.
Well, I think, just sort of using the words of Mick Mahoney, who was sort of CCO at Ogilvy, who, you know, there was a junior team about to present some work, and, you know, obviously they were a bit nervous, and I think he just turned around to them when they were about to present and just, you know, said, just don't fucking bore me.
I think then the door shut at the meeting room, and that was it. They were in there. You go,
I'm feeling nervous myself.
I think I've told you this story before. This is a Man United story. We did something around the perimeter boards it was Man United Liverpool, biggest game of the season. Liverpool absolutely stuffed United as well, which was hilarious.
Moving on.
And we were, this is, way pre-COVID. So we were beaming people into the front row. It was with Adam and Eve of the stadium. So around the perimeter boards. Yeah. Before Google Meet would allow you to meet with more than 8 people, we had to build something that beamed people in from around the world into this front row. And the whole point of it was broadcast on TV. And because it's the biggest game of the season, like 1 billion people around the world watching this thing in China and the Far East and in the US. Mike Farrance, if you're listening, this is my advice to you. And he does remember it because he retells the story quite a lot. He had to go, he's one of our technicians at GV. He had to go up into the gantry next to where the commentators sit and everyone, because that's where they control all of the perimeter boards from, for technical reasons. And he had the big red button in case anyone showed anything that they shouldn't on screen and all sorts of stuff like that. And he was getting a bit nervous about it, kind of build up to kick off. And I saw him just before he went up, and I said, listen, don't worry about it. It's all going to be fine. There's only 1 billion people. Just started immediately sweating. Yeah, it's the same thing. Just don't fucking bore me.
Imagine they're all naked. 1 billion.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
The Ministry of Shit advice.
Brilliant.
I mean, the sad thing is there are a lot of hosters, to top and tail this show at the beginning. Days were very boring, but thankfully you haven't bored us. You've been brilliant. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Really
coming
appreciate
in.
and sharing the stuff.
Brilliant.
And we should, whatever we could have to share on our platforms, would be lovely. And
Of course.
good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Euro 2024.
Thanks, guys.
Who's going to do the outro?
You.
Right.
That was really good.
Yeah. No surprises. What a couple of belters, aren't they?
Couple of gents.
Yeah. Oh, just annoyingly lovely.
Did you
and
purposely
talented.
keep for me that he's an Arsenal fan before we started that?
Do you know what?
You think it was just going to be too much for me to bear with? Or
Yeah,
like,
it was a bit, but then because I'm so fucking thick, I thought for some reason he was a Spurs fan as well, but he was being really magnanimous and choosing an Arsenal
right.
thing. So and I thought that would be weird. But yeah, no, sorry about that. But it's a great one. But they
we have had Arsenal fans on before. I am okay with
Hold on.
other fans.
yeah, we should get a
I'm
Spurs.
not-
Oh, I'll tell you what. I think there might be Dan Cole. I don't know if Dan. I think Dan Cole, who did this thing called The Way Back, is about
Oh,
a
yeah.
thing, and it's on the escalators. And I think Dan's a Spurs fan. So look.
So are you saying we need to up our Spurs fan quota?
Yeah. Well, have we had any United? I don't know. Anyway, look, we're going off. The chats were great, weren't they? They're incredibly generous, and I've loved seeing the other versions. It was kind of one of those ones you go, it's a brilliant campaign.
One of the joys for me about us recording these podcasts and meeting incredible people, but also seeing some of the back work that, I think, when we've talked about The Economist before and, we talked about some of the things that didn't happen, it's almost as interesting as the stuff that did, because
totally.
it gives you a real look into people's process and
Totally.
the kind of see how different businesses work as well. This is an in-house team and run as an agency and clearly very picky about what they put out onto the street. So it's nice to see that. And
I think for me, I remember seeing Trevor Robinson and Al Young with our book when we were kids, me and Adam, and he always used to say to me, show me the work that didn't run, because that's invariably, well, unless you're lucky, it's the kind of stuff that's really edgy. Yeah,
and when we're recruiting, we're always looking at people's sketchbooks rather than just their finished work. So I want to see how your brain works. Yeah, because loads of stuff's about your ideas, and it's important for.
It's tough and the hard work, the finished work, unless you're always going to feel a bit compromised, aren't you? But it's very important to see that both sides of it.
Right. Well,
I was going to say something else. Yeah, it's time.
4 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Yeah, it's time to get back to work.
Whatever will we do?
Well, I'm going to go back onto that pitch I'm working on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm exhausted.
You look like you need a refreshment though.
Yeah, okay.
Thirsty?
Well, I heard there's Mark Commode actually waving to me. He's got a...
Is he in here next? He's probably telling us to get the fuck out of his room.
Right, shut up. Okay, on that note, we better go. Bye.
Bye.